the worst thing about my period, I think, is, the worst thing about my period is how I mean, like, the pain sucks. I don't like the pain of, like, sort of, I hate just feeling, let me think. I hate the feeling of just, when I'm, like, really in a shitty mood for, like 5 days before it happens, and I just feel it's, like, I hate the world hates me, like, everything, and then when it, like, happens, then it's, like, oh, like, I hate that, like, that instance is, like, what's making me upset, like, that makes me feel that way. I don't know. So I hate, like, the pain, and I hate how it's sort of, like, I feel, like, down and, like, out on everyone, and because then, like, I shouldn't have to sort of, like, blame, I shouldn't have to, like, blame, I mean, I guess it's just, like, biology things, and, like, you just get mad, but I shouldn't have to blame my anger and things on, like, my period, but I hate sort of, like, using that as an excuse, and I also just, it's just sort of, like, you have to, like, upkeep and, like, just do things like that, and cramps really suck. But also, I feel like sometimes I almost feel like I have a right to be, like, really mad when I'm on my period, or, like, because then it's like, oh, like, it's just so shitty. Sometimes I think I almost, like, dramatize it, so then, like, I feel more pain, or, like, I don't know. That doesn't make sense, but I just sort of, like, do that. I feel bad for making people feel bad, but then it's like, I have a right to feel bad because I do this. Not everyone in the world gets to do this. A lot of people in the world do, but some people don't.
Worst thing, like staining my underwear and like leaking and like right before I just start eating a lot of food uncontrollably. I don't know if it's like fair to blame that on my period, but like I always like look back and I'm like, oh, I was kind of like binge eating. That's pretty much it.
The worst thing about my period, I'd say, is that it's not completely predictable, and so I hate that morning when you wake up and there's spots on your sheets and you're like, ugh, like I need to go to class right now, or I need to do this and this and this, and you can't take care of it, and then it's a pain, like, to get blood out of anything. So I hate that. And luckily, like, I don't get too intense cramping or anything like that, so physically, like, it's pretty okay, but there are the moments when it's a little uncomfortable and not the nicest experience.
The worst thing about my period is that I have a specific form of dysmenorrhea, which is just the generalized term for messed up period, that is really, I have really painful periods, and so, like, when I was in high school before I was medicated for it, I would, like, have to miss, like, 2 or 3 days because I was throwing up and nauseous and, like, in the fetal position in my bed. It was really ridiculous. And so, finally, after all the painkillers didn't really work, I have been on the pill for, like, 5 years now, which is also not a very fun thing.
It's very heavy, and it lasts for about a week, like 7 days, like, every time. And it can be, it's not like on a, it doesn't have, it's not a, there's not a set cycle. It's whenever it wants to come, but it always does come. And come it does.
I have a pretty vivid memory of being at a family friend's, on vacation with some family friends, at their house, at their vacation house, and in the middle of the night I woke up with awful cramps. Sometimes I get really bad cramps, and I crawled to the bathroom, and I was just on the floor, like head down, like in my knees, on the floor. And finally I got my mom, and the worst thing for me was, I mean, that night the cramps were so bad, I know that I was saying, I just want to die. And I couldn't imagine being my mom with her, I don't know, 16-year-old daughter lying on the bathroom floor saying, I just want to die. I felt bad for, even as I was saying it. I remember feeling awful for my mom, but I couldn't. It was that bad. I think I threw up from the pain that night. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's the worst thing, like worst moment and worst thing about my period.
So the best thing, or a positive thing, about having your period would be that you get to share it with other girls, because it's the one thing that we all have in common, no matter what is going on in our lives at any given time. And, you know, it's just the one fundamental thing that we can always come back to and share. And I know that, you know, when you live with girls for a certain period of time, you all just get your period at the same time. And it's fun, and it's a good bonding experience, and yeah, good stuff.
I think it'd be knowing that I'm not pregnant, even though that's not a major concern, but it's just really nice to have the reassurance that, like, oh good, no babies yet.
I know that someday it means that I can have kids. I think that's like the only satisfaction joy. I really don't like bleeding from my vagina every couple of months. That's really not my favorite thing. But it's the prospect of what it represents, I guess, not so much what it is.
I don't know. I guess, like, I'm generally pretty neutral about my period. So, beyond just the negative stuff that I mentioned just now about my stomach, I don't really, like, see much positive or negative about it. So I don't really have a best thing about my period.
The best thing about my period is that it makes my basketball game so much better. For some reason, it just makes my body tired in a way that I don't tense when I'm shooting. It's pretty amazing when, especially in high school, when I would be playing basketball so much more than what I am now, I would be able to make every shot I take just because my body's tired and therefore more relaxed, and I don't have to think about anything. So that's probably the best part. And then I also love it when my friends and I get on the same periods, because that's always fun. It's like, yeah, you know, we're super close, we're so close, you know, our cycles get in sync. So that creates a little bond there.
The best thing about my period is I would also have to say my boobs get bigger. They get, like, I've noticed that, like, when I'm on my period, my boobs look really good. I mean, even though they hurt a lot, they look good. That's probably the best part.
I don't know really for me, but I hear from a lot of people, like, you're not pregnant, which is like a relief for that week. So, yeah.
The best thing is, I think when you just tell another girl, oh man, I'm on my period, they completely understand, and they're just like, yeah girl, feel ya, like, been there, done that, like, every month, same thing. So, I think that's sort of, like, that common thing that every girl goes through, so no matter who you are, you just say, like, oh, I'm on my period, and they're like, yeah, sorry, but you'll get through it. So it's sort of like a common factor, brings us together type of thing. So that's kind of cool.
I guess there's the best. I heard a quote, I forget who said it, but maybe I liked it, and it was, what was it? I am a medical miracle, I can bleed for 5 days and not die. And that made me feel better about it all, and I really like that. So I guess I would say that's the best thing.